My name is Annaline and I am a certified aerial yoga teacher. I've been teaching for about 5 years now. A few years ago, I started my journey with YogaBody's online trapeze teacher training. Ever since then, I've encountered the question many times from students, what training did you do? And is it worth it? Etc. So I decided to share a full, detailed review. Over the past few years, I've completed many trainings. I was searching for something that felt like home to me because I knew my students would feel that too. So I have a strong foundation of trainings to compare and say what I liked, loved, and found lacking, if applicable. So first of all, let's talk about the name Yoga Trapeze. I didn't like the trapeze portion of it because it makes it sound super circusy, and that's really not an accurate description at all. When I used to teach it, I played around with different names like Air Fit, Aerial Yoga Hammock. Students sometimes told me that trapeze sounds daunting, understandably. So how is the trapeze different from the aerial silk? When I talk about the aerial silk, I don't mean the one that's suspended higher up in the air, attached at a single point. I am specifically talking about the hammock that's about hip height and attached at 2 points. Now, both the trapeze and the hammock are suspended from 2 anchor points and share some overlap in terms of what you can do with them. You can stretch, invert, strengthen, and decompress in both. But there are also some key differences that make each one unique. The main portion of the trapeze is a bit shorter than the hammock. You can't lie in it from head to toe like you can with a hammock. Instead, it's designed more like a seat or a swing. What really sets the trapeze apart are the 3-tiered handles attached on each side. These handles open up a whole world of movement. They're great for building upper body strength, challenging your balance, and adding creative variations to your flow. You can do pull-ups, back bends, core work, and super fun transitions using the handles. The hammock, on the other hand, is made of a longer piece of fabric, slightly more stretchy, that allows you to fully wrap your body. Both are incredibly fun to explore. Let's talk about the course format. The format of the training is online, on-demand videos. Super convenient because you can do it at your own time and pace. They recommend setting aside 2 hours daily for practicing and studying, but of course, you adapt based on your schedule. If you can only do it over weekends, you'll play a little bit more catch-up, or you'll extend it over a few more weeks. Whatever works for you. At the end of the course, you submit a video of yourself teaching friend, husband, mother, child, and you'll receive some feedback, and boom, your certification is available to download. It's an easy process and very low stress. When it comes to the course content, I really enjoyed it. I love the way they broke down spinal anatomy. They teach anatomy and spinal vocabulary in a simple, accessible way. They also pinpoint areas that can be potential hotspots for injury, which is very useful knowledge to have as a teacher. A lot of people come to yoga because they are looking for back pain relief and their doctor recommended it. So this is something you will encounter. I myself got into aerial yoga because of injury, and at one point it was even hard to just do a downward facing dog without pain. The course teaches back injury basics, for example, disc herniation, scoliosis, spondylosis, etc. They go into common medical solutions that people apply for back pain issues, which I found very interesting and helpful. At the same time, the course puts a lot of emphasis on you are not a doctor, don't diagnose, refer it out to professionals. They go into it with more detail, and I feel like with most trainings I've done, they haven't put enough emphasis on this. Yoga teachers should not be going around telling students, oh, I see you have scoliosis. even if you can clearly see it. I went to an aerial yoga class once where we were in a hip hang and I had my ankles crossed. I also had a blanket on the swing, which I never do, but she had us hanging like that for about 10 minutes, and it can become uncomfortable and even painful really quickly. The teacher came by and told me that my back was completely out, and that was it. Nothing else. She walked away, and I was stunned because, well, what the heck? But luckily, I was at a place in my life where I knew that she didn't know what she was talking about. I know my body better than that, so I was able to move on. The next portion of the class teaches you how to deal with people who share that they have pain, whether you would go forward with a class or not. It helps you understand pain better after locating it and asking the right questions. They teach you what to ask and guide you from there. Then there are a couple of scenarios too. For example, the kind of language students would usually use to describe pain, like, oh, I threw my back out. Like, what does that even mean? Something I would have loved to see in the course is examples where people don't necessarily have pain, but they come in describing different spinal surgeries they've had. It is very daunting when you're a beginner teacher. I would have loved to be prepared, for example, if someone comes in and says, I have a spinal fusion here and here, so that I could know what poses and movements should I avoid and what could they do more of. That'll be truly beneficial for a situation like that. That being said, they offer some modifications for different ailments, like knee pain and shoulder pain, but I would have liked to see more back-related modifications. The next portion of the course discusses their private client business model. Once again, it's nothing complicated and makes absolute sense. They assume that you don't own a yoga studio, which is great because it means that it's not only yoga studio owners or people with access to a studio who can teach. There are other options, and they walk you through them. The course teaches some breathwork and affirmations, but no yoga philosophy, mantras, mudras, chakras, etc. So just keep that in mind. If you have already done a 200-hour teacher training elsewhere, then you might feel like you don't need the repetition. However, if the traditional yoga roots are something that you're interested in, then you might want to consider a 200-hour teacher training first. Some people don't like to teach traditional yoga, and to each their own. Yoga is like coffee. People have different preferences, and that's okay, as long as it's beneficial to humanity and not causing harm. Honestly, I think the judgment of, that's not yoga, is far more harmful than teaching yoga in a way that resonates with you. So absolutely no judgment on how you prefer to drink your coffee. I firmly believe that there are different paths to God. Class planning is a very important one for me. How can I sequence my own class to make sense while providing value and fun? The course points out challenges and how to overcome them. They give you a sample structure of a class that includes the entire body, so full body, whole body. It's a solid beginner approach. You get access to 3 full-length practice classes where they walk you through everything they've taught. It is wonderful for seeing the theory in action. The one part of the course that I did not like was that they discourage creativity. It's like depriving me of my love language. I love to teach in a fun, playful way. But of course it has to make sense, not just be swinging around. I do agree that if you are a beginner, stick to the structure you know. As time goes on, you gain more experience and you can always explore more, see what feels good in your body, and start teaching that if it contributes to your overall flow. I teach in a way that is fun for me because that is the most authentic place that I can teach from. Finally, would I recommend this course? The answer is, it depends. If you are looking for a place to get started, I think this is a wonderful beginner course. It is also the only yoga trapeze course that I could find online. There are more aerial yoga courses than trapeze courses, but the two have a lot of similarities, and some things on one device can seamlessly translate to the other, like I already mentioned earlier. If you had experience with some form of aerial yoga, either the silks or the trapeze as they call it, then this course might be a little too simple for you. I also want to take a moment to talk about the YogaBody equipment. The swings are high quality. Honestly, that makes a huge difference. I've tried some of the cheaper knockoff versions before, and I can promise you, the handles are at odd heights, the fabric feels low quality, and the overall experience just does not compare. Make the investment and buy the real deal. The YogaBody swing is sturdy, comfortable, and thoughtfully designed. You'll feel the difference right away. I also have the YogaBody stand, and in my opinion, once again, it's the best one out there. It's very high quality, solid, and super stable. It takes me about 8 minutes to set up, and once it's up, it feels totally secure. That said, if you plan on being a traveling trapeze teacher, just keep in mind, it's hefty. You'll need to be able to lift and carry it, so make sure that works for your setup. If you're teaching at events, outdoors, or anywhere without ceiling anchors, the stand works really great. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like more course recommendations for intermediate or advanced students, please let me know in the comments below.